people actually did do the homework this time, and I looked over your submissions and they look pretty good. So keep up the good work. But for those of you who didn't submit any homework, please try to submit next time. Or this week try to like do the previous homeworks and at least like get those done, because the homework is like good practice for coding and you want to be like practicing so you're like actively like learning. So last time these were the two homeworks. So I'm probably gonna go over this right now. So make sure you have idle open, by the way. So have it open. Hopefully by now everyone has it open in this type of format where it's like script mode. So I'm just gonna go over it first, and then we're gonna start learning about booleans, because that's this time we're probably gonna be doing more practice with booleans, which we didn't get to last time. So first, the question is asking that you want an integer between 0 and 255. So I'm just gonna do random.randint because this will be inclusive of 255. You can do random.rand range, I'm pretty sure, but then you would have to +1 to the 255 because that one's not inclusive. So then you can just do, it says 3 colors, so I'm just gonna do it again. And then I guess we can like print these out to find out what these numbers are. So give me these three random numbers, and you can just like search these up on your own to like find out what actual color they are. That isn't really that big of a deal, but like you just want to make sure that you're able to like use the random module to generate random numbers. So just remember the syntax for that would be random.randint. 0 is the first number that it's inclusive, so it's going to pick a number from 0 to 255 inclusive. So you could also do like equals random.rand range, but then like then if you put like 0, you have to be like 256, because that would you would have to add 1 to the last one. So this last part you don't really need to do, because I don't know if everyone has learned what factorial is yet. So factorial is like, it would be like each number multiplying by like the 5 factorial will be like 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, but I'm not sure if everyone learned that yet. So and floor division is just like using integer division, basically. I don't know if I officially went over that, but like it would be like okay, so let's just search up the green value real quick. Green, which is I think, yeah, it's 128. So let's see. So for that, I would say, like, for example, like x equals 128 floor division of 5. So it would be like this. And yes, okay, so floor division is just using 2 slashes, and basically what that does is it truncates the answer. So like it's gonna like make sure the answer is an integer. It's gonna round down to the nearest integer instead of having like something after the decimal point. So that's what it does. It just truncates the number. Oh shoot, I forgot to print it. Okay. Yeah, so it truncates it. So that's pretty much what it does. So so for this one, this would be using the sample, I'm pretty sure, if we look on here. So, and if you look in the online documentation for this, this would be random.sample, because you want there to be weights for each of your like items. And then you want the sample size to be 10, 10, yeah, you want to grab 10 candy, so you need to use sample for this. the syntax for that would be random dot sample, and then like population, then like K would be like the amount, the number that you want to sample, and then like count would be like the weights for it for each thing. So like this is an example. Yeah, so that was like pretty much it for last week's homework. If you didn't get around to doing that, try to do it this week, but I do have to like start teaching like some of the material that we forgot, that we didn't get time to cover last time. So we're gonna start learning booleans. So oh wait, I mean I'll do a quick review for last time as well. So basically last time we just learned random module, which had a bunch of functions inside. Some of the important functions were like range and sample and rand int, which are all just things that generate random numbers given, like you give within a range that you give them. So you can also use a seed if to initialize the generator. If you don't use a seed, it gives you it uses this system time by default. Yeah, and then when you want to use your random, the random module, you have to remember to import random at the top so that you can utilize the functions inside of it. So just remember to do that. And this one, yeah, rand int just returns an integer between the two ranges. I mean, the start and the stop that you give it. Rand range returns a randomly selected element from the range you give it, and you can even put like a step value at the end. So like this would be incrementing by 10 each time. And then yeah. A random dot choice would just give you a random choice from a sequence that you give, that you put in the parameters. Oh yeah, so choices, actually, you can use that to get some weights for each element in the list or the sequence that you put in, and then you can have like a length of what you want, like how many items you want returned back. So yeah, this would be a better example than using the sample, I think. So for example, we put in a list here and then we had the weights. We wanted the apple to be 10 times more likely to pick than the other two. And then we wanted a list or returned with 14 elements. So this would do it for you. And random.shuffle just randomly reorders the elements in a list that you put in. So yeah, okay, so the sample method returns a list with a random selection of a number of items from a sequence, and this selection of returns doesn't include duplicates. So yeah, that was about it for what we did last week. So I think we're going to start learning booleans now. So basically a boolean is a data type, and in Java a boolean would be a primitive reference variable. So no, a primitive variable, and then like strings would be like reference variables. So like boolean, char, like int, and those would all be primitive variables, which are like, if you learn later on, you'll learn why, because there's like a stack and a heap. Like primitive variables, like booleans and stuff, in the stack, they're immediately assigned the value, whereas like reference variables, they're in a stack, but they have to refer to an object in the heap. So there's like a difference there, but I don't think you guys will learn that for a while. So that's just like a little bit of background. So Boolean only has two values. It can either be true or false. So a Boolean expression is an expression that can be evaluated to true or false. And I'm going to paste this link here for you guys to look into more, because there's some more information on this. So if we look in this table, I'm going to ask you guys like what the result would be if we assign x to true and y to false. So remember the OR operator is saying like if one of them is true, it would evaluate to true. So it doesn't have to be both of them to be true. And then and operator means that both x and y have to be true for this statement to equal true. Not x just means the opposite. So if X is true, then not X would evaluate to false. So, oh wait, they already give you like the results. So just like look over this because this is kind of important. So, yeah, so if X is false, then if Y is true, then it could still equal to true, but if both of them are like false, then this would not work. And then for this one, both of them would have to be true for it to evaluate to true. Okay, so these are some like Boolean values from comparison. So less than would just mean like it has to be less than. This is kind of self-explanatory, I think. Less than or equal means that it can be less than or equal, and then you probably know what the rest is. Equal is like saying, is it equal to that? If it is equal to it, then it will evaluate to true. This just means not equal, and then is like object identity, is not is just like the opposite of that. So the bool function allows you to evaluate any value and return true or false. So let's go ahead and try these on our own. And I want to see what you guys get as the output for this. So I'll give you like 5 minutes to just like put this into idle, and then in chat, like tell me what you got as the output. So at like 6, actually I think 4 minutes enough. So I think at like 6:15, I'll like be done with this, but just put these 3 statements into idle and see what the output is. And then when you get it, just like put in chat. Some people already got answers, so wait 1 second. So there's still 1 more minute to try this out in idle and see what you get. And when you're finished with that, just put your output in the chat. Okay, so if you didn't get it, well, basically, I think a few people tried it out, and basically they got true, true, false. And basically bool returns true unless it's like, unless you put 0, then it would be false, or you put like some sort of empty statement in it, but usually it would probably return true. if you just put something random in like this, but the function evaluates whether or not what you put in is true or false. If you give like something besides this, it would be better to see, I feel like, because it's just gonna say true for this and true for this, but 0 would say false. So yeah, almost any value is evaluated to true if it has some sort of content. But if you put like nothing in, then it would just evaluate to false. And any string is true except for empty strings. Any number is true except for 0, and any list, tuple, set, or dictionary are true, except if you just put in an empty one that has like no content in it. So yeah. So this is a short quiz. I'm gonna call on some people to answer this, but this one might be a bit tricky. So I'm also gonna test out an idle as we go. So for the first question, it's saying, this statement is saying not true and true. What would this like print out if you like tried to print it? Does anyone want to answer? I can pick on a random person, I guess. I guess Audrey. Do you want to give it a try? Yeah, doesn't have to be right, just like give a guess, maybe. Yeah, this is just like, think about how like in this inner statement it's saying true and true, but then like it's saying not. So like what would be the opposite of this inner statement? Or if anyone else has a guess, they can also unmute themselves and answer.
We'll give false.
Yeah, oh, so let's test it out. I'm pretty sure Jachi is correct, so let's just do. Yeah, so we just print false because you're just seeing the opposite of what's in this inner statement. Not just means like take what's ever in here and just like do the opposite. So I guess the second one, true or false. Does anyone have any guesses of what this could evaluate to? Oh, someone did. Okay, so Michelle says true. So let's test this out because that's probably right. Yeah, so it prints true, and the reason why for that is because an or statement, you're just evaluating if like either the sides are true, then it's immediately true. Like in Java, for example, there's short circuiting. So if you look on the left side of an or statement, it says true. Java doesn't even look on the right. Immediately the statement is just true. So this would be true because one side is true. So that's all you need. We can try this one, not false and true. So does anyone have any idea of what this would be? So Michelle says it's true. So okay, we'll test it out and I'll explain. Yes, it does evaluate to true, and the reason, oh yeah, so Summer also said true, which is nice. So the reason why is because an and statement means that both sides have to be true. One side is false, so immediately this statement is false. Then it says not of the inner statement, so you flip it, so it would just be true. So what about the last one, false and false? Does anyone have an idea of this? Okay, so Anushka said false. Okay, we're gonna test it out because I think that's probably right. Oh wait, actually, yeah, it would be false because both sides are false, so it would just print out false because both, like for and statement, we need both sides to be true. So yeah. So most people got that right, which is good. This is another quiz we're gonna do. Wait, actually, okay. So now we're gonna try to do some of these. This one is like arithmetic instead of just like plain like true or false. So for the first one, I would think of it as like, look at this inner statement first, like, is 3 greater than 4? Is that true or false? And then just do the opposite of that. So does anyone know what this first one would be? Think about like, oh. Okay, so let's try it out. So is 3 greater than 4? That's false. So what's the opposite of that? Let's try it out. But I'm pretty sure Nushka's right, so it's true, yeah, because we looked at the inner one, we evaluate is 3 greater than 4, no, that's false. So what's the opposite of false? True, so yeah. Yeah, so it seems like a lot of people got that. So now let's try the second one. So not 1 and 1. This one might be kind of tricky. You can also like try it out on your own in idle, just like do print and then like put this statement in and you'll like it'll print it for you. But I guess this one, if no one has an answer, I'll just like do it for you guys because, oh, someone did. Okay, so Audrey says false. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So 1 and 1. Yeah, it's false because 1 and 1 would just evaluate to true because remember before in the bool function, and if you just put in a number, as long as it's not 0, it'll evaluate to true. So this inner statement, both sides are true. So like this would just be true, and then opposite of true is false. So we can try this one now. This one might be a little bit harder. So this is an and statement. So you have to remember both sides have to be true for this to be true. Okay, so Michelle says false. Does anyone have any other answers? Or okay. So is 9 less than 0? And then and is 0 less than -9? Okay, so 2 people say false. So yes, it is indeed false because this left side immediately it's not true. 9 is not less than 0, so you don't even need to look at the rest. You already know that this would be false. So for the last one is now we're gonna look at this one. So it's asking is 9 greater than 0 or false? Okay, Anushka says true. Does anyone else have any other answers? Yeah, so some other people are saying true. Okay, let's test this out because I'm pretty sure you guys are right. So 9 greater than 0 or oh shoot. Oh my bad, wait. So it's true. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people got true for that. And the reason why is because we're looking at the left side first. 9 is greater than 0. Yes, that's true. So you don't need to look at the right side. You already know the statement is true. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, let me know. But that was basically for what we learned last class. So now we're gonna start with what today. So this is just more boolean stuff. So give a guess like what bool of 1, 2, 3 would equal. I guess I can call in a random person for this because I don't think it's very difficult. So Michelle, what do you think this first one would evaluate to? Michelle, what do you think this statement would like print out if you did a print for this?
What's bool?
Oh, so bool was the function that we just learned. Basically, it's just like BOOL, and then whatever you put in here, it tests whether it's true or false. If it's true, it prints out true. If it's false, it prints out false. But like if you put like any numbers or like a string in it, it'll evaluate to true usually, unless you put 0, then it would evaluate to false. So do you know what like this one would equal? Or anyone can like try and type in chat of what they think it would be. Okay, I think she left for a moment, not sure why.
Wait, no, I didn't leave. I said
Oh, okay. So Audrey says this is true. Michelle, what do you think?
I said true.
Yeah, that's correct, because as long as the number is not 0, it's gonna be true. So for this second one, now anyone can like type in chat what they think this one is. So left side says is 45 greater than 23 or bool 0. So basically just like look on the left side first and then look on the right side. And what do you think this would evaluate to? Okay, so there's some different answers here. Someone said false, someone said true. I guess I'll just test it out in idle for you because this one might be a little bit more confusing, but so it's true. And the reason why this would be true, because first you look on the left side, is 45 greater than 23? Yes, that's true. So we don't need to look on this right side. So we already know this is true. But if you did want to look on the right side, bool 0 is false, but it doesn't matter because the left side's already true. So yeah. Oh, yeah, this would be true. So if anyone has any questions still, just let me know. But the reason why this is true is because 45 is greater than 23. So that is true. The left side of the statement is true. So you already know, since it's an or statement, that this is true because you don't need to look on the right side if the left side is true. Oh, so now we're gonna actually be learning more about strings, which are a data type that is just like an integer, and it's one of the most popular data types in Python. You can simply make them by just like having like typing some stuff and then just have quotes around it. And you can use either single quotes or double quotes. It doesn't really matter. Creating strings is pretty simple. It's just similar to assigning like a number to a variable. So these are some examples. These two would work. The last one does not work because the quotations have to be consistent with each other. So you can either use like 2 single quotes or 2 double quotes, but you can't like mix it up. So backslash is an escape. I'm pretty sure, I forgot what it's called. It was like some sort of escape thing so that you can include like a quotation character or something. So yeah, so it can be used to escape other special characters. Like if you do slash single quotes, it would omit like, I mean, it would just like the slash wouldn't print out, you would just print out a single quote. And then, yeah. But it seems like you also do that without doing the slash if you use double quotes. So if you want to do a single quote, you can either do a slash or you can just use double quotes first. So if you want to read more about this, I'm gonna paste the link in chat so you can check out more about strings. But does anyone have any questions about this? Otherwise, I'm just gonna move on. So these are like the different escape sequences. You don't really need to know all of them, but it's a good idea to just like roughly know some of them. So yeah, if you do like I'm pretty sure slash n or like n works as a new line usually for like most programming languages, but yeah, this would be like a backslash, so this would just have 1 slash. This would be like a single quote, this would be double quote. As long as you put a slash and then like something after, it's just gonna like it's like some sort of escape sequence. So you don't really need to know these ones. I don't really think people will be doing things with that as of now, but yeah, for these ones, like if you want a new line, you can just like do this or like, yeah. Okay, so code statements in Python don't have a terminating symbol. So a hard return signals that the statement stops. If a statement is long and you want to write it in multiple lines, put slash in the end of the line. This tells the system the next line is a continuation of the statement. Yeah, so like I said, like slash n usually prints like another. So this, like if you want like a pretty long string containing like several lines, you would just do like slash n. So we can try this out right now. I'm gonna like put this in my idle and just show you guys what it would do. And then we just do hello. Unexpected indents. So just make sure that your indents are like consistent with each other. Yeah. So yeah, basically what that just did is the slash n, like the slash n and then another slash just makes it so that it goes onto a new line. So like it would print out like this instead of just like one long line. It would just like chop into more lines. So that's just like a cool thing to use. And if you have any questions about this, let me know. So the raw string in Python will treat everything between the quotes as string characters. So we can test this out again in idle. I'm just gonna copy and paste this to show you what it does. And then print. Okay, the indenting is good, so yeah. So this, if you put the R, it just treats everything between the quotes as characters. So it's gonna ignore this like escape sequence. So that's just what adding an R would do. So strings can be concatenated. Concatenated just means like added together to make longer sequences with the plus operator, and then they can be repeated with the multiplication symbol. So if you do like word equals help and then plus a, the print, what would happen is it would print out help a. It would just like add those two together with no space. If you wanted to add a space between, you would have to like put a space yourself because it just directly adds the two strings. So then if you do word times 5, it's just gonna add like this help a 5 times. So that's just what it would do. And then if anyone has any questions about this, because I know it's a bit confusing, just like tell me in chat, because yeah, it might seem a bit confusing at first. So there's also indexes in Python. So like each character in a string has a position and the position value is the index. So indexes, indices in like most programming, they always start at 0. So like, for example, like this would be the 0 index. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, so I'm gonna test this out for you. You can try it yourself as well. So let's just like say word equals. Oh shoot. Plus a. And then we're gonna print the word at index 0 and we're gonna see what happens. Index 4. Actually, I'm gonna ask you guys what you think will happen. So what do you think will happen when I print out like the 0 index and the 4th index? Try typing in chat, like what do you think which like letter would print out for 0 index and 4th index? I can give you like a minute or two to guess, but just like try to think about like, so this is how the indexes would work. Remember, like the first letter is index 0. So what would index 0 of help of this like word be, of this string? Oh, okay, someone has an answer. So No, Python indexes start at 0 usually. I think that's the same for most programming languages. Like especially for like this string, like it always like starts at 0. So, yeah. Oh yeah, someone got an answer. So this seems about right, I'm pretty sure. But if no one else has an answer, I guess I can just test it out, but I'm pretty sure Steven is correct. So let's just run it and see what happens. So it does print H and A, which is correct. Remember the 0 index would be H because that's the first letter of the string or first character of the string. 4 is actually the last index, so it would be A because let's count like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 4 lands on this last character, which is A. So it prints out H and A. If anyone has any questions about that, tell me because I guess the indexes can be a little bit tricky. So indices can also be a negative number, and however, the index cannot be a number greater than the number of characters in the string. So for example, like word of -4 like works, but word of 6 does not work. So we can like, I'm gonna just show you guys what happens like if I try to put this in. Let's see. So word of -4 works. I would just print E because okay, so like that works, but the reason why word of 6 doesn't work is because there's no 6th index, so it's out of bounds, like it's out of range. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, there is no like index after that. So word 6 does not work. But word of -4 works because you have to think about like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like count backwards, like -1, -2, -3, -4. So -4 would be E. Yeah, because when you count backward, it would just like, you can just do like -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. But when you're like starting, it has to start from 0. So yeah, so A would also be the -1 index. So you also use the dot index method to get the index of characters in a string if you don't know the index already. So if the character occurs multiple times, it's going to just return the first index that has that character. So I'm just going to test this out in idle and see what happens to like show you guys. So let's see. Okay, that should work, I'm pretty sure. So let's see. Okay. So the first two work, and let's see. Okay. Yeah, so the first one it would print out 3 because the index of P, let's count 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 P lands on the third index, so it prints out 3. This would be 0, 1, 2 because LP with this second statement would print out 2 because the like L starts at the second index, so like it's just gonna print out like the like first index that like string starts at, which would be 0, 1, 2, second index. Last one doesn't work because there is no T in this string, so it can't find it. So it's not going to be able to find this substring. So it would just print out an error like it shows right here. So if anyone has any questions about that, let me know. Oh, so this is like string slicing. substrings can be specified, like substrings are just like smaller strings, like in the string, like for example, HE would be a substring in this longer string. And these can be specified with the slice notation, so two indices separated by a colon. So saying like word of zero index to second index is going to print whatever is at the zero index to the second index. So 0, 1, 2, but it's not going to include the last index. So this is just going to include like H and E. So, and then word of 2 of 4, 0, 1, 2, L, and then 2, 3, 4. It's not going to include the last index you give it. So it's not inclusive. It just stops one before that. So if you want to make a string slice where it did include the last index, you have to remember to add 1 to that. So like, for example, if I want to print like, if I want to print like the whole thing, like this whole word, I think it's like word like that, I'm pretty sure, something like that. Yeah, so if you want to print the entire string, you could just do this, like what I showed on the screen. Just like it's like from the beginning to the end of the whole string, so you don't have to like specify the index. So this statement right here just prints like the whole word. If you want to print the string in reverse, you could do like word and then like -1, I'm pretty sure, and I think that would print in reverse. Oh, unmatched. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that if you want to print in reverse, you could just do what I showed, like it starts at, you just add a -1 at the end. That's like the step size, so it like goes back by 1 each time instead of like increasing by 1. So like it's gonna start at like the normal, like for the beginning to the end, but instead of like the step size is gonna be -1, so it's gonna be going in reverse. You don't really need to know that, but I just think that's a faster way to do it instead of like putting like 0 to like the last index. So and then yeah, so there's like defaults for the string slices, which is kind of what I just showed. So if you don't include the first index, it just defaults to 0. So we didn't put anything here, but this is just going to assume it starts at 0. And then if you don't include the last thing, it's going to assume that it is the size of the string, like it's going to end at like the last character. So yeah. Oh yeah, and you can even add like a third number to the end. And this is going to determine the step size. So normally the step size is set to 1. But if you like put it to 2, it would like print every second one. So like it's gonna start like, let's look. So first it starts at the 0 index. So it's gonna be H, and then 0, 1, 2. So it's gonna go to the second, and then it's gonna print L. So and then it's gonna add 2 again, like 1, 2, it's gonna print A. So the step size is just 2 here. And then yeah, this is what I just showed. But if you did like starting from the first index to the last index and then step size of -1, it's going to print in reverse. So it's going to go like -1 each time. So that's why I print in reverse. So if anyone has any questions about that, let me know. But yeah. There's a built-in Python function called len, just like len with 2 parentheses. And this just returns the length of a string. So like if you do len and then you put something in these parentheses, it's going to give you the length of like whatever you put in. So there's also like functions to find the maximum and minimum of like alphabetical character in the string. So that's just like some things that you should know. And actually, I'm gonna ask a question, I think, about this. Oh wait, there's a quiz coming up, so it's fine. But like, I'm gonna just demonstrate this. Like, for example, let's say word equals like that, print len of that word. So the length of it would be 5 because length is just counting how many characters are in it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't use any indexes. You're just counting how many characters. So there's 5 characters in this string. So the length is going to be 5. Yeah. Oh, and you can also, there's a function to count how many times the character appears in the string. So if we have the string called hello, and then we count how many times L appears, it's gonna print out 2 for this. And you can also add a beginning and end index. So if you want to start at like I, and then you want to, oh, well, this one just, yeah, so we can like test this out first, but I'm gonna just show what happens if you do this. So and oh, I think you actually can't use the word string as a variable name because it's already like a word that's in the Python like keywords. So wait. That is a little bit weird, but I feel like this, yeah, so basically it's just supposed to like, you're supposed to use a beginning and end index, and then like it should like count how many times the character appears, but I don't think they gave an end index here because 2 is not like in, oh, so it was supposed to start from the second index to the 8th index, 0, 1, 2, 3. Hmm. Wait. Okay, so for some reason it doesn't work, but I think that it should just like, generally you should just like, if you put like a letter like hi, and then you put like the start and the end index, it should work. So I'm not sure why it wasn't working for like mine, but I'm pretty sure that's the syntax. So here's like a quiz that we're gonna do. So we're gonna have like oh yeah, also for this, you don't want to name a string like, you don't want to name something like after a keyword in Python because that's kind of bad. That doesn't work. Like if you like, str is already a keyword in Python, so you shouldn't name like a variable that. You shouldn't name a variable like you just shouldn't use like Python keywords to name your variables because that's not allowed usually, and it's also bad style, so you shouldn't do that. So here, this is like a small quiz. So you want to select the correct output of the following string operations. So we have like this string here that's, it stores like the word welcome. And then we're gonna print string, this one starting at index 0 to index 6, and then plus pi native. So what do you think this would print out? Well, we can also try to do this in idle, like just like copy and pasting and see what it prints out. But I'll give like 5 minutes and you guys can like type in chat what you think the answer for this would be. Okay, so someone guessed A, but we're gonna still wait for some more answers. So at like 6:54, I think I'll like be, oh, another person guessed A. Alright, so a lot of people guessed A or C, but I guess the answer might be kind of surprising, but I'll show it first. Oh, another person guessed A, so it seems like a lot of people are guessing A, but I'm gonna test this out. So string 1 equals welcome. String 1. Starting index is just defaults to 0, end index is 6. Okay, make note that there is a space here, so that is good. That means that there will be a space in between when you concatenate the two things, so native. So is prints welcome pi native, which is very similar to the first answer, which is very similar to A, but it's not quite. This would actually be C. So a lot of people are pretty close, but like it's actually C, because the reason why is, if you remember, like this like index, like this slicing, it stops one before the like the index that you like put. So like if it's 6, it's gonna stop at 5, not 6. So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would stop at the 5th index, which is M. So it would only print from W until M, and it wouldn't print E because you put the index as 6, so it's only gonna go 1 before 6. If you did want it to print until like the whole like word, you don't have to, it would just be like this. Like that would be an easier way to do it, because then you're just like doing from beginning to end. But if you do 6, it's gonna stop at the 5th index. So that's why it would be, the answer would actually be C for this. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, wait. I actually didn't want to look at this again because string dot. Okay, so now we're gonna do another quiz question. So you're gonna select the correct output of the following string operations. So if string 1 is this like this stuff, and then this substring is, we're gonna print string 1, and then we're gonna like use the count function to count how many times this substring appears.
What's sub again?
Oh, so this sub, this is just the name of a variable called sub, but it's basically a substring of this one. So you see this word is right here. So if you look in here, we see like is a bunch of times. So that's why it's a substring, because it's a string from the bigger string. Like is a substring of this string 1, because we see the word is a bunch of times in here. So it's like a part of that string. So this function, this question here is basically asking what would print out if you counted how many of these is like these substrings in string 1, and then the starting index is 4, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. In chat, this one is a little bit more difficult, so I'll give like 5 minutes. But in chat, try to guess, like type what you think this would print out. You can also just put this into idle and see what it outputs. So someone guessed C. Okay. I'll give like a few more minutes probably, but yeah. I'll probably give like 3 more minutes for this question. Or actually, we're running kind of short on time, so I'll just like walk you through this. But someone guessed C, which would be 7, so let's see if they're right. So let's say string 1 equals and then sub equals. Someone else got an answer. Someone guessed B. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. I think I did it exactly same. Okay, yeah, that should be right. So the answer is 6. So whoever said B is correct. And the reason why is because you start at so you count how many is in this thing, but you have to start at the 4th index. So that'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it does like I guess it includes like this because it was already on like and is like basically it was already on the substring, so it's gonna include that, I'm pretty sure. And then wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, and then it just counts like how many times is appears from the 4th index until the end, and that is 6 times, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, okay. So if anyone has any questions about this question, tell me, but the answer would be 6 because it starts from the 4th index and counts until the end how many is are in it and includes the is that it was on because the index includes that. So
But that's 7.
oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, no, it's actually it's 6 because it doesn't include this one, I'm pretty sure. That's what I was thinking. It was like that doesn't seem right because like the 4th index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which starts on this S, and that shouldn't include is, I'm pretty sure. Like that's why I thought it was a bit weird, but yeah, it should still be 6 because it's in counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, but it doesn't include this first is, which is what I was thinking before, because I don't think it should include like it was on S, it wasn't on I, so it should include this first is. Before I did think it was a little bit weird why it said 6, but then I like forgot to count like the last is in here, so yeah, it should still be 6 because just remember that it starts at the 4th index and then it counts until the end, and that's how many is there are. It doesn't include the first one. So thank you for whoever like called that out because I didn't see like one of the is at the end. So if you want to convert a string to all uppercase or all lowercase, you can use the upper or lower functions. So an example, oh wait, I guess I didn't give an example. I guess we can try with sure, wait. Yeah, so as you can see, I made a string called hello, and then I just like did hello dot upper, and that prints out an upper. Same thing would happen if you did like hello dot lower. So to check if the string starts with or ends with a character substring, you can just do like word dot starts with and then put your substring in the parentheses, and then like words dot end with the substring in parentheses. And then to remove the starting and ending white space, you can just do like word dot strip, which it just like removes like the white space at the start and the beginning. If anyone has any questions with that, let me know. But yeah, so this is just like starts with just checks if it starts with that substring and then like ends with does the same. So I'm just gonna go over this, but then class will be over because it is 7. So if you want to do replace Python string dot replace, it replaces all occurrences of a substring with a new substring. So if it follows the syntax to replace old, new, and then max is optional, but when given, it like gives you the maximum amount of replacements to be made. So if you want to do word dot replace for this word and then like fish, cat, you want to replace fish with the word cat, and then it'll just do it once, but if you put 2 at the end, it'll do it 2 times. So we'll probably go over the rest of this next class, but I'm gonna post the homework for today soon, and also please try to get the homework done because that's kind of like practice, which is pretty important for like coding if you want to get better. So you need to make sure you're practicing it. But does anyone have any questions about the content we covered today or no? Okay, if you don't have any questions or concerns, you can go ahead and leave. Class is over for today, but if you do have questions, please stay. So thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.